mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, and today I'm here to talk about Season 2, Episode 2 of AMC's Interview with the Vampire, entitled Do You Know What It Means to Be Loved by Death? Like I said in the previous video, every title is a line taken from the book and spoken during the episode, and this one is spoken during the vampire play that Louis and Claudia spend way too much time at in this episode. Not a fan of this episode, you guys. Sorry, not sorry. This thing took a long time to go nowhere. It was slow, tedious, boring, and its two highlight moments, or at least the moments that I think it meant to be highlights, were pretty underwhelming. Kind of feels like they're still actually in the process of setting up the A-plot for this season, because if someone asked me what this season was about, I wouldn't be able to tell them. Sure, I could tell them what's happened so far, but what does that mean? Like, where is it going? What's the point? Couldn't tell you. They're still kind of jerking us off about the status of Lestat. The status of Lestat. One of the two highlights that I alluded to a moment ago is the portion spent at this vampire theater. And man, that scene went on way too long for your boy and went no fucking where, just to end up at the very predictable and I thought very obvious place of, oh shit, they kill a woman on stage for real during this play. Like, it's a vampire theater that's run by Armand, who employs real vampires. Like, I was not at all surprised to find them kill a person on stage for real. Now, I want to be clear though here. I thought the play portion was boring, long, and tedious for a predictable payoff. However, I do understand that other people may have found it richly entertaining. Just like how there were moments in Ripley that I found to be engaging at times where others might find them to be boring. It's just the play scene, it just didn't work for me. It could have, it did, but it didn't. I hear that's a pretty popular portion of the book. And for those of you who may have been looking forward to it, I hope it was everything that you've been waiting for. I do still believe, though, that portion of the episode was too long for an underwhelming payoff. Regardless of whether or not you found it entertaining, I do still feel like it took up too much of the episode just to land at, oh shit, they kill a person on stage. And yes, that's not the ultimate landing point, but the actual portion of the play ends at that part, and it's like, man, that was a long ass time to get here. Now the actual payoff of going to the theater is meeting all of the vampires there. But now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about what else happened in this episode. Like I said at the top, I don't think we've got a lot to discuss from this episode because I do think it spent too much time in not very interesting scenes and places, but let's talk about the things that did happen, because there is some stuff that I did like. I don't want to come off like I'm about to shit on this episode. I'm not. Well, I kind of am, but not entirely. Like, I'm going to say some nice stuff too. Hey everybody, I just want to take a small break from this review to talk about the various other ways you can engage with me on other platforms. If you're so inclined, and I understand why you wouldn't, I am an acquired taste, but you can join the Patreon where you can get extra content like retro reviews, where I review old shows and movies to see if they still hold up today, Mike's Musings, where I talk about shows I'm watching that I don't cover on the channel, or Mike's VOD, where you can commission me to watch a show, which I will then review on the channel. And if you want to engage with me and chat with me more directly, I also implore you to join the Discord and follow the Facebook page. I set up channels in the Discord for all of us to discuss the shows I'm reviewing on the channel, and I also drop new videos in there, since it's the easiest platform for me to share to from my phone. The Facebook can be really fun because I sort of live comment on shows I'm watching, often while under the influence, I'm not going to lie. And I'll also share news there, both about television and film, and about myself as well. So if you like my content, you want to be more engaged, you think I'm charming, or you simply want to show support, feel free to sign up for the Patreon or join the Discord or Facebook today. Links to all platforms are in every video description. Remember to share all my shit to your respective social media platforms. And now back to this review. So this episode opens in Paris, where we saw Claudia and Louis arrive at the end of the last episode. Louis is again talking about how people are responding to to life post World War II, and I'm wondering how the show. I'm assuming that they will, because Louis talked about it kind of a lot, but it's not for sure that they are. But I'm wondering how, if they are, how they're gonna tie in these real life events and World War II and the aftermath with their with their vampire tomfoolery. Like, I wouldn't think that they were, but like I said, Louis brought it up so much that it makes me wonder, like, if they're gonna find out that Lestat's been recovering with some like shamed Nazi commander or something like that. I don't know, but we also start the beginning of these 3-person conversations between Louis, Armand, and Malloy in present day, and man, oh man, am I hating these fucking scenes so far, man. Like, man, Malloy is fucking obnoxious. Like, the fucking what's he? Oh, I've already forgot what he calls him. Real, the fucking real Rashid. Yeah. That shit was funny, like, the first time, and he's done it, like, 18 times since, and then even Armand is probably like, all right, cut the shit. No, I think Rashid said it, like, it's just Rashid, motherfucker, cut the shit. Like, he's obnoxious now, and the scenes with him, I think, are really, like, clunky. Like, yes, I think the gist of them is clear. He's getting too cocky, and he's trolling Louis and Armand, so Louis and Armand decide to troll him back by giving him shit about various bad moments that he had with his ex-wife. I understand that, but the way it's played out, I feel was very just rocky and difficult to follow. Like, with Malloy talking and then him and Louis immediately arguing about stuff with Alice, like, it was jarring because it took me a moment to even realize what was going on or who they were talking about and where he was even getting this information. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, you were just talking about something totally different, like, in the previous sentence, and now what's going on? And, like, the scene where they talk about Malloy's reaction to her pregnancy, he's like, yeah, I think it was like, it was so blended in with whatever they were talking about right before that it took me a second to even realize they changed topics. And I'm like, wait, what are they even talking about right now? And it's not till after the scene is over and I rewind it because I'm just like, that, like, did I miss something? Again, I'm like, did I miss something? Like, they changed topics really fast. Then I rewind it and then I'm like, okay, I think I see what's happening here. But, like, the scenes with the 3 of them talking, like, they've been really underwhelming so far. And underwhelming is me kind of being nice, because, at this point, I'll be ready to fast forward. I don't even want to see those fucking scenes. Like, they're important, so I can't, but, like, I want to keep moving along what I feel is the main plot, which is what happened in the past. I want to see all that shit. The present day stuff, like, they are not doing a good job with this right now. And I guess this is a tangent, but not. Another reason for that is the actor that plays Armand, who plays Armand. Like, I understand the show wants to convey the idea that age isn't the same when you're a vampire because it depends on when you were made, but, you know, I get that. But they even had that father-son pairing in this episode where the son looked older than the father. I get it. But Armand, man, like, he looks like a soft little boy. Like, it's not like he just looks like younger than Louis. Like, he looks like a soft, meek little boy. And then he also speaks and behaves like one. It's like he lacks the... He's not a Lyanna Mormont. Remember Lyanna Mormont on Game of Thrones, the little girl that took over that took over, what is it? Where's... Oh, I'm blanking on it. Bear Island is where the Mormonts are from, but wherever. And she takes over and over for the Lord Commander after he's killed at the wall. I'm spoiling Game of Thrones now. But, like, that little girl, and she's obviously she's one of the leads in The Last of Us as well. That's kind of what Armand needs to be doing with the actor who plays Armand needs to be doing with that character. Like, that character needs to be intimidating. Like, I don't know, as far as screen time goes, right? We've essentially replaced Lestat and the actor who plays him remarkably with Armand, who is just a really underwhelming character thus far, given how powerful he is. And I feel like it's really hurt these first 2 episodes to have removed somebody who was so good with the colossal amount of screen time that they received, and give that same equal screen time to a character who is way less interesting, way less dynamic, way less like, oh, this feels like a badass in a vampire show. It just feels like somebody who's not... I don't know, man. It's hard to because I don't want to feel like I'm shitting on the guy who plays him, but, like, it's just... I don't know, man. It's a really underwhelming performance and a really underwhelming character right now, and it looks 10 times as bad when that's the person who's replaced one of the people who carried the first season. It's also hard to showcase a dynamic relationship between Louis and Armand when the only time we see them together, they're sitting in chairs together. Like, gently rubbing his shoulder is not gonna do it. And I do think that the show is trying to make that point. Like, look how boring and domesticated Louis seems now versus how he was with Lestat. But it doesn't make for really interesting TV. And if you want to sell me on the relationship between these two, I need to see more than them just sitting in chairs together and arguing. And I would really like for Armand to be just a smidge entertaining or intimidating or exciting or something other than looking like a soft, meek little boy. So both their relationship and the Armand character as a whole are not working for me right now. They need... I'm gonna say it. They need Lestat. I had to do it. So the other big highlight is after the play. Backstage, Santiago, who is the lead in the play, the lead male vampire, who had a great... I didn't like the play sequence, but his little thing where he was kind of like talking to the crowd, I thought that was a good scene. But he asks Claudia and Louis who their makers are, and Claudia gives the uninspired lie that it's someone named Bruce. And I like that scene because at the moment I'm like, why is she even lying? Like not only is that a shitty lie, but why is she even lying in the first place? But then they show us that she saw this portrait of Lestat on the wall before she lied, and I thought that was kind of like a really well-executed reveal. We learned that Lestat is not only a co-founder of their little theater group and one of their best performers, but this also obviously informs us and Malloy that Armand and Lestat were together before Louis and Lestat. And there are a lot of interesting directions they could take that, and any of those directions could really swing this season in a positive direction really fast. The possibility is on the table that the vampires could have read Louis and Claudia's minds and reactions to hearing about Lestat, but despite this, Claudia wants to go back. Louis decides to, instead of going back, hit up Lestat's accountant to see if he's received any wired money from Lestat, which would thus indicate that he is still alive, but he's received no money. He instead gives a box to Louis from Lestat that has a note that the ghost version of Lestat that we've been seeing so far this season reads within the scene. And I'm not entirely critical of this episode because I thought this was a really good scene as well. Like, I like the duality of I'm touched by this heartfelt note, but fraught with guilt over what I've done. That we see play out in Louis as as Lestat reads the note. I also like the idea that this Santiago guy is possibly already onto them. Like, I don't think they lean too hard in that direction in the episode, but I don't think it's a coincidence that he asked who their maker was when there's a picture of Lestat on the wall. Like, I feel like they presented it like it's a question, like, hey, we just always want to know who the fuck made you. But, like, no, I feel like he already knew and wanted to see what they were going to say. The episode ends with Louis and Claudia going on a hunt with the theater troupe. Claudia goes on the kill spree and absolutely adores it, feels alive, loves it. While Louis stood outside to flirt with Armand. We learned that Louis is not great at blocking his thoughts, and in fact, Claudia is better at it than he is. And we learned that Armand knows both that they have some sort of relationship with Lestat. He claims to not know to what extent. I don't believe that either. And that Louis went to that accountant to ask about those wire transfers. That's an interesting turn of events, especially given how Armand would know about Louis' trip to the bank. Like, he could have sent something in Louis when Lestat's picture was brought up at the theater, but how do we know, how did he know that Louis went to the bank? Like, unless he read Louis' mind, which is, I think, also a very likely reason for that, but it feels like something's fishy, and they established the whole thing about traveling vampires needing to check in with local covens, which Louis narrates he was unaware of, and we come to understand that's what caused Armand to look into them in the first place. And like I said earlier, Santiago seemed very suspicious to me. Like, I feel like he knows a great deal more than he's let on. And I don't know. I feel like the trip, Armand's knowledge of the bank trip says a lot more about the knowledge that he has regarding Louis' relationship with Lestat. And look, I understand the vampire community can't possibly be that big relative to the general human population, but it feels like too much of a coincidence that Armand knew Lestat that long ago, and now him and Louis just so happen to run into each other right after they've killed Lestat. Nah, I don't know, man. That's a big too much of a coincidence. But that's why earlier I said, like, not all critical here. I think these couple of episodes set up, like, slowly, but did set up some interesting questions and some compelling plot points. It's just that this episode itself, not a very entertaining one for me. Pretty slow, pretty dull. And it even obscured, I feel like, its big moments, like the hunt playing out in the background of Louis and Armand's conversation. And don't get me wrong, the conversation is the more important thing happening here. It's just that the scene playing out in the background like that, with like the bodies being thrown up against windows, it felt like an R-rated like Bugs Bunny cartoon or some shit. Like, it was very fucking goofy. If you're gonna have a slow episode with a lot of world building that's needed, and you're also going to have a hunt in that same episode, maybe consider showing the hunt. I know, crazy, right? But maybe consider showing it. That's all I got for this week. I'll see you guys next week for episode 3. And until then, peace.